Goodness, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DIQs on right now. Yay.
Awesome.
You're missing Christy Greer and Christy Jackson. Anybody else?
Christy Greer is on vacation, so she won't be on.
Okay. All right. And they can listen too. They obviously will have the Zoom information. They can go back and listen to it too. So that'll be good. All right. So I am so thrilled with you guys. I have to tell you, I love this time we have together, get together and just be able to pick each other's brain a little bit. But also right now we have on pace to step out this month to be a director. Woo-hoo! Really close with $610.45 to go is our beautiful little Carrie Ribicki. Whoop, whoop. All right. Carrie, that is awesome. Congratulations. What do you have to say for yourself? Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I guess I should say I'm very excited. I'm very nervous. But I just am trying not to, you know, I'm just focused. I'm just focused.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get new reps in, motivate my current reps that they can get some people in. I'm doing some bribing possibly with some Tupperware stuff that I've earned. So yeah, I'm just working at that. So I'm working others and trying to get some more people in, and yeah.
Well, you never want to give away the farm, but I always say the stock that you have is not making you money sitting there. So use your product that you already have to make you money. All right. And so congratulations, you need 2 paid as managers. And I know you have managers, you just have to get them to that paid as level. Yay, congratulations. And next we have Ashley Olemacher. Congratulations. Oh my goodness. $1,959.90 away. Ashley, I know you're not on camera, but go ahead and share with us. Are you excited? Ashley, can you talk?
She might not be able to talk. Originally, she said she couldn't get on at this time, so she might be kind of like, oh, she's at work. Yeah.
Oh, she's at work. Good reason you can't talk, girlfriend.
I like
Although
it.
our goal is to get you fired. No kidding.
No.
Totally not. Totally not. It was a joke. All right. Congratulations, Ashley. You are super, super duper close. And of course, you need 2 managers. And I believe right now you have at least 4. So congratulations. 2 of those need to be paid as. All right. Melissa Tenney, 3,300 away. And Christy Jackson, 7,500. Christy Greer, 8,500. And we also have Katja at 8,800. And Mary Pyatt at 10,800. And Amanda Donatelli, 19,000. She's only in month 2. And also in month 2, 20,000 with Deb Longgood. Congratulations, you guys. Awesome. Melissa, did you hear us call your name? Were you on yet?
No, I had to go on my phone for some reason. Sorry.
Okay, Melissa, you're doing great. You are only 3,300 away. Yay.
Yay.
Girlfriend. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so we have the privilege of having our Regional Vice President, Chris, with us this evening. And he's going to share with you guys some great tips on how to look at your business as a business plan for you. So get your pen and paper out and be ready. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Pam. My pleasure. And I'm so excited to have this opportunity to connect with the future directors here at Champion and to the directors who are joining us as well. It's always great to see your beautiful smiling faces. So yeah, first and foremost, I hope everybody had a fantastic long weekend celebrating safely and in a healthy way with your family and friends. I think we're doing everything in a new way these days, right? So I just first hope all of you had a great time. I know I certainly did. So yeah, so I wanted to share a couple of things tonight with you, and Pam, thank you again for inviting me to join. I love working not only with our leaders, but certainly our future leaders, right? Because it's such an exciting time. And you know, I heard Carrie say a second ago that she's excited and nervous, right? And all of you should be that way. All of you should be excited and nervous. I think that's a normal feeling to have. Like if you're not feeling excited and nervous, well, that'd be okay too, I guess. But I just want you to hear my voice saying that is completely normal, right? It's almost like you're excited and then like, oh, I'm going to become a director. What am I doing? Like it's in the same second. You go hot, cold real quick. Like, my goodness, where'd that come from, right? And just know that that's normal. So if you're feeling that way, good for you. You're normal. I don't know how many times you hear that on a daily basis. So take it and run with it, people. That's a normal feeling. But in all seriousness, as a future leader, I want you to recognize that feeling. I want you to recognize that feeling because think about your consultants as they're working to become a manager. And not too long ago, some of you were a consultant and just stepped up to manager. And remember, like the next day you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my goodness, what did I do? Right? I became a manager. Oh my goodness, what did I do? What if they have more questions? What if this doesn't work? What if, right? And I love what Carrie said. She's just going to stay focused on what she knows needs to get done and not worry about the what ifs and that sort of thing. So just know that it's normal and recognize that feeling because you have consultants who are becoming a manager. You have some new managers. Just because they wake up the next morning and have the title manager doesn't mean they know what to do, right? They just met a requirement and they've got promoted, but it's our job to teach that. So the same thing for you, same thing for all of you. So I'm going to go on because we're recording this. I'm going to go on record here by saying this. Listen, as a future manager, as a future director, your job is to ask a lot of questions. It's your director, your org leader, and Pam's job, and my job, to answer your questions. It's our job to take you by the hand, right? Your job is just to follow the lead and go down the path that's been carved in front of you. You've got incredible leaders that have figured out what works, and they've certainly figured out what doesn't work, right? So when they say, no, don't do it this way, do it, don't do that, do this. Just do this. Don't even question it because they've already figured out what works and what doesn't work, right? So just, and you should feel your director's hand on one shoulder and Pam's hand on the other shoulder. You have support in surround sound, right? Everybody at Champion is there to support each and every one of you along the journey. And feel excited or nervous at the same time, and just know that that's okay. The other thing I wanted to ask you tonight, right, and this is for you to kind of think in your mind, and you can certainly write this in your notes, but how will you and your family benefit from you becoming a director? Stop and think about that for a second. How will you and your family benefit from you becoming a director? And you might say, oh, Chris, the extra money will be great, right? I want you to identify what you will do with the extra money you make as a director. Like I want you to get really specific and get really narrow with why. Why do you want to become a director? How's it going to benefit you and your family, right? And when you consider, you might say money, and if you say money, you don't have to share with us on this Zoom, but I want you and your family to know how much and by when and what you'll do with it, right? So it could be things like putting in a remodeling like the kitchen, right? Or not, putting extra money on your mortgage, or putting away for your child's education. You might have a loan that you want to pay off, right? And maybe you're on target to pay it off in 36 months, but becoming a director, you want to pay it off in 12 months, right? You want to double up or triple up. You've got to know, like, how will becoming a director benefit you and your family, right? Now, some of you may already know that. Some of you might be a little, not as narrow with your focus on that. And I just want you to hear me saying, really dig deep on this one to understand why. It should create like a fire in your belly. Like it should create a fire in your belly where you're jumping out of bed in the morning to tackle your Tupperware business because you're one step closer, or you're I forget what it was, $645 or whatever it was that carries away from hitting her magic numbers to promote, right? And you're just running at your business every day because this is going to benefit you and your family. It may be a little trade-off. I've got to share with you. We've promoted 28 new directors in the Rocket region just in the last 2 months alone. And there's a group of our new directors who were full-time workers, and because of the quarantine got to work from home, and guess what? They don't want to go back to work. They don't want to leave their house, and like the time they're spending with their family, or you know, the moments that they're not missing, right? It's absolutely priceless. So for each of you, it would be a different reason, and I want you to think through, you know, how will being a director benefit you and your family? And when you can lock in on that benefit, that reason why, you get that fire in your belly. I refer to it as like, get out of my way or get hurt, right? Like you're a woman on a mission. Like, and I learned this a long time ago. I'm in Tupperware 37 years this year. I think Pam, you and I are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Boy, that was a good year for Tupperware, wasn't it, Pam?
Yeah, it was. They were they got lucky.
We got really lucky that year, right? So, you know, I say this all the time. When a woman makes up her mind to do something, get out of her way or get hurt, right? You hear me say this all the time. And I want to make sure you've got that get out of my way or get hurt mindset right now with your Tupperware business. I'm becoming a director because it's going to benefit my family, X, Y, Z, however that's going to be for you and your family. And I'm excited and nervous at the same time, and get out of my way or get hurt, right? When you have that type of focus and that type of mindset, you know, sky's the limit in your Tupperware business. A couple of tips that I want to share with all of you, right? So as I mentioned, I've been in Tupperware. This is September will be 37 years. Where has the time gone, people? Now I know what you're all thinking. Chris, you don't even look 37. You want to know how you look 35? Watch this. I'll show you. This is a trick I learned a long time ago. All right, this is me looking 37. This is me looking 35. Just lean back. I'm just kidding. I got people smiling. That was a good thing, right? So a couple of tips that I want to share with you on your journey to becoming a director, and every day after you become a director. I want to make sure that you realize that you are the #1 team member on your director team. I want you to remember that you're #1. And we need to have an agreement, my friends, that #1 takes care of #1 first, right? I want you to remember that you are always going to be, as a director, you're going to talk to more people about Tupperware. You're going to date more parties. You're going to hold more parties. You're going to sell more Tupperware than anybody else on your director team. Now, you may have a consultant or manager that outsells you for the week or for the month, and that's fine. But overall, you're the one who's going to be doing Tupperware more than anybody on your director team. And as a result, you're the one that you can rely on 100%, right? So my little rule of thumb is this: #1 takes care of #1 first. Take care of yourself first. And what I mean by that is your personal party lineup. It's so important to make sure that your party lineup is taken care of first. One of the biggest mistakes that I see new directors make, and they do it with a big heart, right? Because they think they do it with they've got a big heart, but they'll start to think like, I've got to go work on everybody else's party lineup, and then I'll get to myself later. And then you put it down and you go work with other people, and then something happens at the end of the week and you never made your phone calls and you didn't move your personal lineup. So if you can adapt this behavior, that you take care of your personal party lineup first, and then when you start working with your team members later, you're going to say, oh my goodness, let me share with you what I said. I just dated 2 parties earlier today, right? Here's what I'm saying. Here's how I'm positioning it. Here's what I'm offering, because you're on a high. You just dated a couple of parties and you're feeling really good because you're building your personal lineup, right? So if you could just remember to take care of your personal business first. Don't worry about your consultants and your managers. They're not going anywhere, right? But we want to make sure that you take care of your lineup first, because if we go back to, the party profit, the profits you make off of your personal sales is the big chunk that you're going to take home each week for you and your family. So we want to make sure we're protecting that first, and that you always take care of yourself first. So if you find yourself drifting, you'll remember this conversation and my annoying voice in the back of your head saying, hey, you're #1, take care of you first, and then take care of your team, right? I see the directors nodding their heads, right? Because I'm going to tell you, I promise you, and I haven't spoken to all the directors here, but I promise you they've all done this at least once in their career, where they're like, I'll get to me later. I'm going to go over here and work with these people. And then at the end of the week, nothing moved. Right? I talked to a lot of people, but they didn't do what they said they were going to. And if I would have picked up the phone, I would have dated some parties, right? So you might be sitting here wondering, so what changes when I become a director, right? What changes when I become a director? Yeah, you make more money. That's cool, right? And yeah, you could drive a company car and go to Hawaii or Disney. That's all in the game plan for all of you, right? But if you're sitting here just curious saying, what's the big difference between manager and director besides the money? I'm going to share with you what I believe it is. Of course, Pam and everybody else can correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe the biggest difference when you go from manager to director, right? You hold personal parties, that doesn't change. You personally sell, that doesn't change. The profits that you make on your personal sales, that doesn't change. Your personal sales volume bonus, that doesn't change. Your commission goes up from the manager, exec manager to director. Yep, that's a given. So you know that's going to happen. But I think and you recruit, you share the opportunity, you welcome new team members, you know, that doesn't change. The one thing that I think is different when you become a director versus being a manager is you now look to develop other people to manager. Like you now look at your new consultants that you bring in, and you look at the consultants that the new team members that are joining the business, whether you recruited them or someone in your team did, you look at them a little bit differently. You kind of look at them and say, I wonder if she'd be interested in being a manager. Where you start to listen with both ears a little bit differently to what they're saying. So you're looking at each new team member as a potential manager. Does it mean that they're all going to become managers? No, they're not. And that's okay. But you start to look through a different set of lenses. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically what I'm saying is you keep doing your parties, you keep sharing the opportunity, you keep building your team. But then as a director, you start to look at who could be a manager, right? Because the more managers you have, right? Think of your managers as like mini me's, little junior U's, right? Does that sound right? Mini me or junior you? Like you have these little junior leaders, I'll call them junior leaders, on your team as a director, and they're working for their $2,500 or $5,000 a month as a star manager or $7,500 as an executive manager. And by them getting what they want for them and their family for being a manager, that helps you as a director achieve higher director team sales and qualify for things like the trips and the cars, et cetera, right? So I want to give you just a little, to help you develop more consultants to managers, or even for your existing managers today, right? So you're a future director here tonight, and you have perhaps you already have 1, 2, or 3 managers that you already have developed. And I want to give you a little easy formula to help you when you're talking with them, right? And for the directors, this might be something a little different than you've heard in the past. It's right along the same concept that you've been trained on. I just have broken it down to a weekly number versus a monthly number, right? So when I'm talking to a consultant about becoming a manager, and we're going to talk about the benefits of becoming a manager, but I want you to start thinking like, who are some people on your team that you want to help promote to manager? And I want to break it down into bite-sized pieces. I always believe that anything that you're working on, always break it down into little bitty pieces because it's easier to achieve, right? So, to become a unit manager, I want you to think of it as this. It's as easy as 2 or more unit parties a week. Manager. 2 or more unit parties a week. Everybody knows it's 3 personal recruits and the requirements to become a manager. I'm not going down that path, but when you're talking to a consultant, like you go through those requirements. That doesn't change. But I want you to simplify it. If you say 2,500, that might be a big number for them to think about. But if you break it down and you say, you know what, let's figure out how can we get 2 unit parties a week between you and the 3 or more personal recruits that you bring into the business as a new manager. 2 or more parties a week. Now I'm basing this off of the $500 party average, right? So if you're doing the simple math with me, 2 $500 parties is $1,000 a week as a manager unit, times 4 weeks is 4,000. Does that math make sense? Okay, cool. Now star manager, right? I'm going to tie this all together for you. So if you're taking notes, just write this down, and I'm going to show you how this works easy for you. Star manager, it's as easy as, now you know a star manager needs to have 6 personal recruits. And then it's as easy as 3 or more unit parties a week. 3 or more unit parties a week. If I said 5,000 to become a star manager, go get 6 recruits and have 5,000 in sales, that could shut somebody down fairly quick. But if I say, let's figure out how to get 3 parties a week between you, the 6 people that you brought in, and anybody that they brought in on level 2, and anybody that they brought in on level 3, right? Between all of you, let's just figure out how we can get 3 or more parties a week, right? Does this sound pretty easy? Everybody's kind of nodding their head, right? Now, 3 parties a week times 500 is 1,500, times 4 weeks is 6,000, right? So these numbers should make sense, right? All right, now let's talk about executive manager, because I love executive manager and director, because that's where you're going to find more money in our comp plan. An executive manager, it's as easy. Now, you know they need to have 9 personal recruits. That doesn't change. But think of it this way. It's 4 or more unit parties a week. 4 or more unit parties a week, right? Now, if I'm using a $500 party average, that's 2,000 a week times 4 weeks is 8,000. So has anybody noticed the numbers that I put there? 4,000, 6,000, 8,000. That should completely align to our comp plan. Do those numbers align to our comp plan? No, they don't align to it. What are they? They are above it, right? Because we know manager is 2,500, right? So you might be sitting there saying, Chris, why would you ask her to do 4,000 a month if she only has to do 2,500, right? Anybody thinking that? Like, isn't it 2,500 for managers to be paid as? And Chris is talking 2 unit parties a week, which is 4,000. That's different from the comp plan. Well, I'm going to say this: as a director, you can talk to people at 2,500. I'm going to talk to people at 4,000. When I can show my managers how to do 4,000 a month versus 2,500, my director team sales are going to be a lot higher, right? And then at the star manager, I said 3 parties a week. The entire unit, your 6 personals, and anybody on level 2, level 3, when we have 3 parties a week, right? That's going to be 6,000 a month. I know star managers 5,000, and I could read the comp plan chart. But if I sat here and trained everybody on how to do the minimums, guess what? If you come up a little short, you're missing, right? And then the same thing when I talked about executive manager, 4 or, and notice I always said or more. I didn't say just do 4 or more, right? So if I'm an executive manager, I should have at least 4 or more unit parties every single week in my lineup. And as a director, I would be coaching my managers along these numbers just so that they're staying in line, right? Does that make sense to everyone? When you sit there and you say 2,500, 5,000, 7,500, those numbers, you're as a future director, you're achieving those numbers and exceeding them right now. So those are not big numbers for you today, but the new person getting started on your team might view those as higher numbers. If you give them those little bite-sized unit parties that they need to have each week, it breaks it down into a weekly number, which is smaller bite-sized pieces. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One little bite at a time, right? So here would be my coaching on this, right? So if you are working with your managers, right, then we want to have a conversation. How do we get 2 or more unit parties a week? Now, you know they're going to say they're going to at least do 1 a week themselves. Maybe they're doing the 2 themselves. But if they're doing 2 to 3 weeks, oh my goodness, as soon as you hit 3, you're on pace to be a star manager, right? Or if they start hitting 4 parties a week, oh my goodness, you're on pace to be an executive manager. So it's just using the weekly party lineup and to coach them. So now if I've got, like if I'm Carrie and I've got like a couple of my managers that need to be paid as, I'm gonna sit there and say, let's talk about this, put our heads together. Let's talk about how we can get, 2 to 3 parties a week in your entire unit. And they're gonna come back saying, well, we can do more than that. Of course you can, and I know you can. But instead of me going after them with a higher party number, I'm making it so bite-sized that they buy in just like that, right? So hopefully that's making sense for you. Now here, I'm gonna share this one with you. Don't fall off your chair. But so we had 2 for unit, 3 for star, 4 for exec, 5 for director, right? 5 five as a future director, it's 5 or more parties a week between you, your 9 people that you brought in, the 2 managers that you promoted, and all of their consultants, your level 2s, your level 3s. When you put it all together, 5 or more parties a week will get you over 10,000 a month. Now, here's the other thing that I didn't mention to you. I didn't mention internet sales. I didn't mention when your consultants buy samples. I didn't mention when your consultants collect a $50 order here, a $100 order there, somebody bought 2 sets of servalier bowls. I didn't mention any of those miscellaneous sales. That's extra and that's on top. And I promise you, my friends, if you focus your managers on 2 or more unit parties a week, your star managers on 3 or more, your executive managers with 4 or more, and then you as a future director doing 5 or more with your entire team, you'll get the results that you're looking for, right? I'm going to throw one last number at you. 7. 7, I'm going to call them team, T-E-A-M, parties or more a week. 7 or more team parties a week. Now, if you do the math quick, 7 times 500 is 3,500 a week, times 4 weeks is 14,000. Not including internet sales and all the other miscellaneous sales, right? 14,000 is over what it takes to get a Rogue, right? The Nissan Rogue, right? And now you might sit there and say, Chris, but it's 12,500 for the car. I'm going to say, yes, you're absolutely right. That's what the program says. But if you're asking Chris for his advice, I'm going to say 7 or more team parties a week. That's you, your personals, your managers, your level 1s, your level 2s, your level 3s, right? When you put it all together, 7 or more parties a week. I want you focusing on 14 and 15,000 a month, not 2,500, because there could be sickness, death, wedding, vacation, life can happen. And I wouldn't want you so focused to just hitting your minimum that if something happens, you fall short of your minimum, right? I want you to go above. If you get anything out of tonight's Zoom, whatever Tupperware's comp plan and career levels are, we need to understand them, but we need to go beyond them. And I'm only going beyond them by a couple of parties. But I'll tell you what, I've been in, as Pam and I, we've been in this business 37 years. We've both been on both sides of the fence where we were playing it right to the minimum, and you could stress yourself out. Tupperware could be a lot of fun, and then all of a sudden it's like, I need a couple more $100. Where am I going to get it? I'd much rather have my month done by the 3rd week going into the 4th week. So I'm like, zippity-doo all day, right? As you're closing out your month, right? So the way you get there is you build beyond the minimum. Does that make sense to everyone? Like if you're taking anything away tonight, it's build beyond the minimums and having just a simple formula. So going forward, if you use these numbers that I'm giving you, as you're coaching your managers, as soon as you don't see 2 parties in their unit lineup, that's a quick conversation. All right, Susie, how are we going to get those extra parties? It looks like you're 1 party short in your 3rd week. Let's start working on that now so we get that filled, right? And we certainly know she's going to get datings from our first couple of parties, that sort of thing. But I never rely on that. I build beyond that. And then as soon as she's starting to hit those 3 or more parties a week consistently, I'm like, Susie, let's go find 3 more recruits. You can become a star manager this month and start using the career plan to move them up. I want to share one other quick thing with you. And Pam, I apologize. I'm probably running too long here. Am I okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. One more thing for all of you, and directors, if you didn't catch me doing this on one of the future director Zooms that I do in the region, I want you to follow me with this one. If you, and this is a good thing that is for all of our future directors that are on the Zoom tonight, live or watching the playback, and this is also good for dream conversations or dream chats that we might have with consultants and managers who want to move up and become a director. And I ask the question, are you making a car payment today? Do you make a payment to Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Hyundai, Nissan, Maserati, BMW, whatever you're driving, right? Like, do you make a car payment today? Most people do. Some people don't, but most people do, right? So if you're sitting here today and you make a car payment on a monthly basis, whether it's a leased vehicle or you're buying the car to own it outright, you have a monthly payment. If you know what that dollar amount is, just write that in your notes, not to the penny, you know, but just in round numbers. I know it's over 400, then put 400, right? It doesn't have to be 418, you know, and 65 cents. Whatever, just a round number, right, for your monthly car payment. Now, it doesn't matter what state you live in, state of Ohio, state of confusion. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Everybody needs to have car insurance. You need to have car insurance, right? Now, you may know what your car insurance is, or you may have no clue what your car insurance is. If you know what you pay on a monthly basis for car insurance, jot that number down. If you don't, put $100. That's about average, right? So I'll share with you, the average car payment today is right around $500. And the average car insurance is about $100. So if you put that together, that's $600 a month. You might be paying less because you put more money down, or you might be paying more, right? The last time I was on the road and I did this live, I had from 500 a month to 700 a month. So I just went right smack in the middle with the group that I was using. So if you were to take in your notes your monthly car payment and your car insurance, and you put those two numbers together, now you have $1 amount that you're paying on a monthly basis. And I want you to think for a second, like the next time you go online to pay those bills, that you remember this conversation. And what if you turned around and instead of writing a check to Ford, General Motors, Chrysler, whatever you're driving, that you wrote the check to yourself? So that dollar amount's $400, $500, $600 a month on average with your car insurance in there. What would you do if you wrote that check to yourself? Now, let me also make that number bigger for you, right? You might be sitting there saying, oh, Chris, my car payment and insurance is only $500 a month. I'm in good shape, right? They're gonna say, multiply that by 12. Multiply it by 12, right? Now, the average car payment around 500, car insurance 100, that's 600 a month times 12 is $7,200 a year. What would you, now the bigger question tonight, I want you to ask, you know, ask your husband, ask your partner, have a family conversation, think about this yourself. What would you do with that extra money? Would you put that on the principal of your mortgage and pay your house off quicker? Would you finally remodel your kitchen that you've been putting off for 10 years? Would you have a dream vacation? Would you start putting away for your child's education because you're in a panic, you don't know where that money's going to come from, right? So I want you to think about your car payment, your car insurance, add that together, multiply that by 12, and look at that bigger number, and that's an instant raise you can give yourself when you figure out how to have 7 or more team, TEAM, parties a week. 7 or more parties between you, your level 1s, your level 2, like your entire director team. 7 or more parties a week will put a Nissan Rogue in your driveway. And therefore that car payment and car insurance that you're paying today is money that you instantly give your family a raise. I don't know who can start off 2021. Because if you start today, you can have your Nissan Rogue before the end of the year. You start today, you can have your Nissan Rogue before the end of the year, which means in 2021, you can get rid of your, like December going into January, you can get rid of your car insurance, and kiss back and buy. And I don't know who can go to, if you work a JOB, I dare you to go to your JOB in January and say, you had like a $7,000 raise this year. Now you might get a cost of living raise. And if you get promoted, you might get a raise, but on average, you're getting that 25 to 50 cents an hour raise if you did really good, right? And that's not going to equal $7,000 a year, right? So think, or whatever your dollar amount happens to be. So the last thing I'm going to encourage you to write in your notes is this. 2 words. Think is the first word. Second word is all capital letters, bigger. Think bigger. Yeah, you know what? You're excited and nervous at the same time. That's okay. Follow the lead of your director and your business leader. They have carved the path for you. You have ridiculous systems at Champion. And all you have to do is plug in and follow. Will you stumble, fumble, and fall? Absolutely. Brush off your knees, get up and start running again, right? It's going to happen, and that's okay. Happens to all of us. But the sooner we just get back up, brush off your knees. And the best thing you could ever do, if you ever have a not so great Tupperware day, is just date 2 parties. That turns everything around in a second. I just did 2 more parties. There I go. And you're off and running again, right? So have fun with it. Think about how you and your family are going to benefit. Stay focused on you being number one. And start, if you haven't already, start to identify those junior leaders that you want to move into the manager ranks. Make sense?
Yes. The thing is, Chris, is this is training for every level, because sometimes a director finds themselves like, I need to get a new team, or I need to add to my team. I need another level. And you start at home. You go back to base. Home base is like what I call it. And start back with your own personal schedule. I did the math here for 37 years. Chris, you and I have saved our families $266,400. So that's a lot of money. That's a house, okay? That's a really nice car, like a really nice car. The fact is we, it's just, I do believe it's a choice. You've got to make a decision, and you want to be the victor, not the victim, over and over and over and over again. Never be the victim. No, ever say poor me, or I could if, because those are all crutches that are meant to destroy you. So rise above that stuff and don't be that person. Live like a champion. So does anybody have any ideas, or anybody have any questions, or anybody have any ahas for Chris?
I love questions, and shy people should go first.
Okay, shy people first. That means not you, Desi. Chris doesn't know you yet, but it's not Desi. Okay, so anybody have any questions? Yes,
Carrie,
go ahead, Carrie.
Not really a question, but just for the fact that you are programming your mind and your work ethic to reach beyond just minimal amount that Tupperware is looking for.
You might want to type this.
Going forward more, that you're gonna succeed. And when you put the big aha was when you were talking about the car, and you put it that way, and I was like,
No, you're absolutely, Carrie.
oh, now I know why I say 14. Okay, makes sense.
No, Carrie, you make
Check mark written down right here.
Yeah.
That
Carrie,
is
you're absolutely
awesome,
right.
Carrie. No, Carrie hit the nail on the head. And Ashley, I saw what you typed in as well into the chat. And basically what you're both saying the same thing is breaking it down into bite-sized pieces so that the bigger goal doesn't look so, it's not as daunting of a task, right? And I don't want to oversimplify.
Being weird.
Oh.
Carrie, you're breaking up really bad.
Yeah, a little bad connection there, my friend. You might want to hit the chat. Yeah, no, it's. I think it's a little delay there. Yeah, but no, I think I got what Carrie was saying, and spot on, Carrie. So thank you so much for raising your hand and going first there. But yeah, break everything in bite-sized pieces. So if this is a learning lesson for you today, then I want you to step back and think, oh my goodness, as you're working with your consultants in Confidence Star, or consultants who want to become a manager, or your managers who want to move up to executive manager, don't just sit there and throw the big number at them. Break it down into bite-sized pieces and then tackle it on a weekly basis and just stay consistent with it. You'll find the results are a little bit easier to get to. So thank you both for saying that, both Carrie and Ashley.
All right, anybody else have questions? And it doesn't have to be directly about this. Anything about being a director or moving up, or, the timetable. I will tell you, as soon as you hit director, it doesn't have to be at the end of the month. As soon as you hit director, we're going to celebrate you. We're going to immediately announce you as a new director, and we're going to add you to all of the director communication groups. And so you might want to go ahead and download Slack and get used to that. And we're going to have a director group for you on Facebook. And so those are the two main ones. And then we are going to add you to our director call every single Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. And if you cannot attend, there is a possibility that you are real nice to me. I'll send you the recording. No kidding. So you have the opportunity, obviously, any full-time workers that are not able to be on. I do believe that if it's important to you, you make time for it. But if you're working and have a scheduled work day, then I honestly do consider that as a very good excuse, a reasonable excuse. But you'll learn to work around, that Thursday morning and, not go get your nails done or your hair done and stuff like that. Make it a priority for us, okay? And if you miss a week, you miss a lot because we are an amazing group of powerful women that get a lot done in a week, all right? In a meeting in a couple hours, so be there for us. Anybody have any questions, anything you want to know about being a champion director, a Tupperware director for Chris, being part of the region? We do have, yes, Christy.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. So I was curious about the whole car thing. So if, or I shouldn't say if, I don't use that word anymore. When I become director by the end of the month, because that's what I'm hoping for, when I get to that sales goal, can I get money towards what I'm paying now instead of buying a car? How does that whole thing work?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Do you want to answer, Chris?
Yeah, so Christy, there's two things, right? So when you become car qualified, right, in our What's Your Drive program, you have two options. You can choose a cash option. You might say, you know what, I don't want a Nissan Rogue. It doesn't fit my family needs. You might have a new vehicle that you want to take the cash option. And some of our directors take the cash option, so that would be available to you. Or you can go ahead and through Tupperware, we order you a Nissan Rogue. Tupperware makes the car payment, car insurance. You just really put the gas and go. 24/7, the car is available at your disposal. And the great thing about the Tupperware car program is every 2 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first, they get rid of the car and they get you a new one, right? So we don't want you driving a car that has more than 60,000 miles on it. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm not quite sure that I.
It does. And then the other question is with the car, because that's my next goal after director is to get a car and go to Hawaii. So do you have to, say 1 month you don't do as well? Do you take that car? How does that work?
That's a really good question. It's the funniest thing. If you don't do so well, the car it ends up with 4 flat tires and out of gas. It doesn't even move.
I'm just gonna wave at it from my house.
I'm just kidding with you, Christy. I'm just kidding with you. No, before you go into the car program, you get to review the car program in details, and there's a chart, right? So based on your team sales, if you're underperforming with the car minimum, which is $12,500 in team sales, then there's a copay. For the vehicle for the month, and it's a sliding scale. The less you do, the more the copay goes up, and that money is automatically deducted out of your commissions for that month. Right. So you know all of that before you drive a car.
Well, that's good to know too. So.
Yeah. Well, no, the bigger
chart. I personal text you the chart, and it's also in the chat over here for anybody else that wants it, so you can look at that. It's very reasonable, and the nice thing is the bigger your team becomes, if you promote a director and you go into the next level car, it actually gets easier for your personal team sales and stays at that level forever. So it's a nice, great program and certainly achievable. I mean, lots of success there.
7 or more parties between you, your level ones, your entire director team. I just like post that. So the easiest way to remember that, especially for our directors, right, is as you're working with your future directors to become car driving, do they have their 7 or more up, right? So just kind of think 7 up. If I have 7 or more parties up each week in my director team, that's going to get me to where I need to be and beyond, right? And by the way, Christy and the others might want to know this as well. While you're in your DIQ qualification period, to get into the car, it's 3 consecutive months of 12,500. So we just had two of our new directors that used their second and their third month of DIQ. They were over 12,500 each of those months, promoted out at the end of May. So June, they did over 12,500. Their very first month as a director, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have done that in the last 2 months, have CAR qualified in their very first month.
Yeah, we
That's
have,
awesome.
Kelly will car qualify this month,
Mhm.
and so isn't Jenny Cheatham car qualifying this month.
Mhm.
So, yes,
Yep.
congratulations.
So it's good to know, right?
Yeah.
Pam, you know what I need to do before I jump off and go on to another Zoom is I need a photo, because I'm going to let everybody in the Rocket region know that I was Zooming with the future leaders at Champion tonight. I'm doing three leadership Zooms tonight. So if you want to jump on and smile, fantastic. We'll say 3, 2, 1. Bam. Got it. Awesome.
Okay, and I want you guys to know and rest assured that this is your goal right now. You really need to look for 7 parties every single week now. You know, if you fall short, you can make it up the next week. But if you roll with the 7, you're going to find the goals are going to happen. And it takes a bigger army. The bigger your army, the easier those 7 come by. However, every time you achieve a goal, we're going to give you the next number and the next number and the next number, all the way up to right now. Ellen is looking for 333 parties a month in her org. Only 20 of them have to be on her team, all right? And so you need to realize that with Ellen's check of 10,000 last month, she made that not just with her personal team, but with the organization. And so your job as a leader in Tupperware at Champion Enterprises is to do your job and teach other people to do your job. And therefore, it happens into a domino effect, or it's like rabbits. They just keep having babies and you have rabbits all over the place. And that's what you're going to do in Tupperware. You're going to teach other people to do what you're doing. And it's that simple. You don't have to be, there's no big fancy degree you have to have here. Although you'll make the same amount of money people make with big fancy degrees if you keep working this business and going forward with it. You can certainly make a huge opportunity for you and your family and make dreams come true and never have to have that, life's hard anyways. If you put financial difficulties inside of there, that's just something you don't ever have to worry about if you focus on where this Tupperware business can take you. Okay? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. This was a great call. I love it. And live like a champion. Okay, guys?
Have a good night, everyone.
Everybody wave. It's part of your therapy.
Bye.
Thanks, Chris.
Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.